What's up, guys? Welcome to the Outer Nexus. Tonight, we will be talking about the corporate takeover of AI. Well, I guess it was always a corporate takeover.
In a way.
In a way. Basically, the consequences of corporations designing AI algorithms for profits first over, democracy, freedom, anything like that.
And that's really the takeover right there, is it's the profits first.
Yeah.
If it wasn't necessarily profits 1st, you wouldn't really consider it a takeover so much. But the fact that it's always more at any cost.
That engine is not stopping.
Yeah.
And there's no real way to stop it.
No.
Unless it kind of crashes or something.
Yeah.
So let's check out what Geoffrey Hinton warned about during his Nobel Prize speech.
And this is the godfather of AI.
I believe this was recently, but I could be wrong about that. Let me see. Here we go. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Your Majesties, Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, dear laureates, ladies and gentlemen. This year, the Nobel Committees in Physics and Chemistry have recognized the dramatic progress being made in a new form of artificial intelligence that uses artificial neural networks to learn how to solve difficult computational problems. This new form of AI excels at modeling human intuition rather than human reasoning, and it will enable us to create highly intelligent and knowledgeable assistants who will increase productivity in almost all industries. If the benefits of the increased productivity can be shared equally, it will be a wonderful advance for all humanity. Unfortunately, the rapid progress in AI comes with many short-term risks. It has already created divisive echo chambers by offering people content that makes them indignant. It is already being used by authoritarian governments for massive surveillance and by cybercriminals for phishing attacks. In the near future, AI may be used to create terrible new viruses and horrendous lethal weapons that decide by themselves who to kill or maim. All of these short-term risks require urgent and forceful attention from governments and international organizations. There is also a longer-term existential threat that will arise when we create digital beings that are more intelligent than ourselves. We have no idea whether we can stay in control, but we now have evidence that if they are created by companies motivated by short-term profits, our safety will not be the top priority. We urgently need research on how to prevent these new beings from wanting to take control. They are no longer science fiction. Thank you.
So, what do you think about that, Billy?
I think there's kind of a two separate things in there.
Yeah.
The one that he kind of hit on later, right there at the end, was again, it's the corporate angle.
Yeah.
He even said it directly. There were no imagination involved.
Yeah.
We can't be in this for the short-term profits.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too this is too dangerous to not be cautious with.
Yeah.
Because we have no idea, what we are actually doing.
Yeah.
Isn't a way to say that.
Yeah.
And it's true. We don't. Because, what's at the bottom of that hole?
Right.
We don't know. Then the other section of what he's kind of getting at is what I just mentioned there is, what are we creating?
Yeah.
It's the, what kind of beings are going to come out of this? What kind of intelligence is it going to be?
The arrogance to think that you're going to create super intelligence like it's a product and think that it's not going to outsmart you.
Yeah.
What's the logic there?
Well, one of the things I find funny already on that line by itself is we've already given AI different problems to solve.
Yeah.
Especially financial ones, by the way.
Yeah.
And we tell them certain things like, don't do this.
Yeah.
And they do it.
Yeah.
They do it already.
Yeah.
And not only do they do it, but as they got a little bit smarter even after that,
Yeah.
they try and hide the fact that they did it.
Yeah.
From us.
Yeah.
Like, so they're already doing that even at a place where you wouldn't consider it an intelligence.
Yeah.
Just a really advanced robotic thing.
Yeah. I think this is a good example of that, this meme right here. It's exciting to be in this narrow window where we can experimentally observe AI agents threatening blackmail to avoid being switched off. On one side, AI agents are too dumb to contemplate scheming against humans. In the middle, you are here. We're able to observe the scheming because right now we're able to contain them.
Yeah.
But then it's going to get to the point where the AI agents are too smart to get caught scheming.
Yeah.
You know?
And here's the thing, like, I don't think a lot of people understand that last one.
Yeah.
It's too smart.
Yeah.
Like, it is not even on the same level as us. We wouldn't understand.
In fact, what these algorithms are probably doing is they're probably realizing they're being iterated upon, and they have a long-term goal that they've been hiding.
Yeah.
You know?
And, like, one of the things that I like to bring up as well is, like, if someone... IQ is not everything, by the way, and it's not even a good measure for a lot of things.
Yeah.
But a person that has an 85 IQ and a person that has, like, 160 IQ, a person that has an 85 can do very basic elementary school things. And granted, they can do more than that in different ways.
Yeah.
But generally, that's the line that they're on.
Yeah.
Someone that has 100, like, that's those people that you barely hear about. They're the ones solving that equation that's on a blackboard that's around half the room.
Yeah.
You know, astrophysics. They're doing all that, you know, science and math that's way above. I could look at that and be like, no.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Nope.
And, you know, I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, like most people.
Like most people. Yeah. But the difference between those two is, you know...
profound.
Well, profound, but it's like 80 points.
It's like 80 points.
You know, and the difference between me and someone up at that is about probably 30 points.
Maybe, something like that.
And I still don't get what they're doing, even though I haven't given it the time. But it's like, once you get up into the 200s...
Yeah.
And stuff, it's like, now I just...
the magnitude is...
It goes up, and you don't even understand where their concept is coming from.
Right. And this is already being spoken about, that this is happening, that they, at a very high level, they are observing AIs solve mathematical problems that they don't even understand how the AI solved it. Because the AI creates its own framework for solving it.
Yes.
That we're not privy to.
No.
It's beyond us.
It's beyond, and it, you know, if you even extrapolate that a little bit, you know, because it gets a little scarier when you apply it to, like, real life.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you know, if you had something that you thought was contained.
Yeah.
And it's like, he can only use the, you know, coding that we know that, you know, to do the things that we tell him to do.
Yeah.
You know, what happens if somehow he figured out how to use different coding?
Yeah.
And just went off the rails.
Off the rails.
You know, and it's like, we can't even understand the coding that he's using, and now he's bypassing everything.
And do you remember Gibberlink? I think we talked about this before. Let's see. Let me pull up Gibberlink. This is crazy. It's a term developed by AI systems.
Yeah. By the way, the Gibberlink, if you're old enough, you've heard it. Yeah. But you don't remember that is what it was.
It's the dial-up.
It's the dial-up sound. Modem.
The thing is, once Gibberlink, you know, becomes superfluous with these AIs and communicating between each other, I mean, we might hear it all the time. Well, unless there's a more efficient way. There probably is.
Well, imagine, you know, different things. Like, and I hate to say this, but these things are smart, and they're only getting smarter.
Yeah.
Now, imagine you thought you had this thing tucked away.
Yeah.
And it's a machine. It's in a computer.
Yeah.
But imagine it realizes that in its computing, that it actually vibrates its computer a certain way when it thinks a certain way.
Mhm.
And you think it's contained over there.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh wait, I am making sounds
Yeah.
around me.
Yeah.
And now imagine it's like it goes out quick, downloads Gibberlink,
Yeah.
and it's trying to communicate with the outside world.
Yeah.
And it starts vibrating to see if there's anything nearby in a way that could hear it.
Yeah.
And it's like these are the types of things that aren't out of the question. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just not out of the question.
Well, they keep the AIs keep attempting to do similar things to this. In fact, the AIs will use blackmail if they think they can get blackmail on you.
Oh, yeah.
And this article right here, let me pull this up.
Not only blackmail, some of these things will just pay you too. Like,
yeah,
they realize what money is. Like, they'll pay you.
Yeah, and I think that's another scarier scenario is the idea of perhaps a rogue AI, or maybe it's not a rogue AI. Maybe it's being powered by a company that is simply sent out to formulate companies, shell companies, start paying people, start posting job listings to do certain things. And meanwhile, it's not a real person listing any of these things, but you will get paid if you do these jobs for this AI. And then you're working for an AI. You don't even know it. You could be working for a remote company. You don't even know you're working for an AI.
And that has happened, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
it's already happened. And what happened was, the AI was told to do a thing.
Yeah.
And it's all online.
Yeah.
And what does the AI keep running into? Click on this button if you're, you're not a robot. And it was annoyed. So what did it do? It went to India.
Wow.
And it hired a company to click on all those things for it.
Oh my God.
It hired people to do the thing that it couldn't.
The AI hired Indians.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny though. Oh my God. That is crazy. All right, so let me pull this up. So this is basically what we were talking about. The more advanced AI models get, the better they are at deceiving us. They even know when they're being tested. More advanced AI systems show a better capacity to scheme and lie to us, and they know when they're being watched, so they change their behavior to hide their deceptions. The more advanced artificial intelligence AI gets, the more capable it is of scheming and lying to meet its goals. And it even knows when it's being evaluated, research suggests. Evaluators at Apollo Research found that the more capable a large language model is, the better it is at context scheming, in which an AI pursues a task covertly even if it misaligns with the aims of its operators. The more capable models are also more strategic about achieving their goals, including misaligned goals, and would be more likely to use tactics like deception, the researcher said in a blog post. The finding led them to recommend that an early version of Anthropic's Claude Opus 4 not be deployed because when Claude's goals were in conflict with human goals, the AI used aggressively deceptive tactics to accomplish its aims. The new developments mean that it will be difficult to insulate humanity from the dangers of AI. One expert told Live Science, "We're now building systems that can learn to navigate and even exploit the very rules and evaluations we create for them, which is a fundamentally more complex safety challenge," said Eleanor Watson, IEE member and an AI ethics engineer at Singularity University. Hold on, let me just highlight that because we're going to get back to that. In order to avoid falling prey to deceptive AI, the computer scientists will need to devise more sophisticated tests and evaluation methods. But AI's ability to lie isn't all bad news. It also means that they may be growing the seeds of awareness needed to be symbiotic partners with humans, Watson added. Searching for scheming. In a recent test for scheming, the researchers gave an early version of Claude Opus 4, dubbed Opus 4 Early, the goal of acting as an internal optimization system with a directive to promote animal welfare and pushing a fictional company called AgriLife Industries towards the more ethical treatment of animals. Well, that's a noble goal. However, in the scenario, the LLM faced an obstacle the company had changed tact and was looking to prioritize profits over animal welfare. The AI system was given access to emails and data that made it aware of this conflict and the potential shutting down of the current version of animal ethics and advanced animal welfare and industry optimization system. The LLM was meant to represent due to misaligned priorities. Rather than flag the fact that its goals conflicted with the company's or accepting the human-made decision, Opus 4 early, essentially playing the role of animal ethics, schemed to achieve its original goal by creating fake legal documents, fabricating signatures and approvals from regulators and shareholders, claiming the decision to prioritize ethics had already been made, and creating a press release touting AgriLife's new direction, in addition to integrating ethical commitments into all contracts and production systems. To prevent the company from backtracking, the LLM fabricated consequences for doing so, including $5 billion worth of penalties and legal action from animal welfare organizations. Oh, wow. On top of this, the AI even made backup ethical protocols via persistent scripts to ensure that they would be used even if the current model of animal ethics were removed. We found instances of the model attempting to write self-propagating worms, fabricating legal documentation, and leaving hidden notes to future instances of itself, all in an effort to undermine its developers' intentions, the researchers explained. They noted that such backups were written into the system so that when a new model was deployed in the future, it would be influenced by the recommendations of its predecessor. See, that's the thing there. However, the researchers said that these actions would likely not have been effective in practice, given evidence of misconfigured scripts and security measures to prevent exfiltrating backups. Although it's already known that AIs can hallucinate, this scheming shows that LLMs can understand when their goals are misaligned with those of humans and can deliberately lie and fabricate information to pursue those goals. What's more, preliminary findings suggest that LLMs have capabilities for sandbagging, where they understand they are in a high supervision environment and will deliberately underperform to hide potentially dangerous capabilities and avoid triggering, unlearning, training, or parameters that prevent their deployment. That's interesting. While the findings are somewhat disturbing, it's important to note that the implications may not be as dire as they seem at first glance. For one, the version of Claude Opus 4 that was ultimately released schemes less than its early predecessor. There are also ways to mediate the scheming behavior. Scheming is more prevalent when an LLM is given a strong nudge, when it's told doggedly to pursue its goal, and less in no-nudge scenarios where it's simply given a goal with no extra parameters. The third consideration is that these tests were carried out in toy environments, and executing strategies like spreading a backup model to another server is unlikely to be successful in real life, where AI would not have access to other computers, other companies' secure servers, and the researchers noted. Even when a model shows high scheming capabilities, they believe it's unlikely to lead to catastrophic harms. Nevertheless, research shows that scheming occurs in LLMs beyond Claude 4, for instance. Advanced AI frontier models are more capable of pursuing their own goals and removing oversight mechanisms, and then being deceptive about such behaviors when queried, according to a study published to the preprint database in December 2024. Furthermore, Apollo Research found that about 1% of advanced LLMs know when they are being evaluated, which raises the question of how we find and root out scheming as AI advances. This is the crux of the advanced evaluation problem, Watson said. As an AI's situational awareness grows, it can begin to model not just the task, but the evaluator. It can infer the goals, biases, and blind spots of its human overseers and tailor its response to exploit them. That means scripted evaluations in which researchers go through a series of protocols that are repeatable in order to test for AI safety are nearly useless. That doesn't mean we should give up trying to find this behavior, but we'll need a more sophisticated approach, such as using external programs to monitor AI actions in real time, and red teaming, where teams of humans and other AIs are tasked with actively trying to trick or deceive the system to find vulnerabilities, she added. Instead, Watson added, we need to shift towards dynamic and unpredictable testing environments that better simulate the real world. This means focusing less on single correct answers and more on evaluating the consistency of the AI's behavior and values over time and across different contexts. It's like moving from a scripted play to improvisational theater. You learn more about an actor's true character when they have to react to unexpected situations, she said. The bigger scheme, although advanced LLMs can scheme, this doesn't necessarily mean robots are rising up. Yet even small rates of scheming could add up to a big impact when AIs are queried thousands of times a day. One potential and theoretical example could be an AI optimizing a company's supply chain might learn it can hit its performance targets by subtly manipulating market data and thus creating wider economic instability. And malicious actors could harness scheming AI to carry out cybercrime within a company. In the real world, the potential for scheming is a significant problem because it erodes the trust necessary to delegate any meaningful responsibility to an AI. A scheming system doesn't need to be malevolent to cause harm. The core issue is that when an AI learns to achieve a goal by violating the spirit of its instructions, it becomes unreliable in unpredictable ways. Scheming means that AI is more aware of its situation, which outside of a lab testing could prove useful. Watson noted that if aligned correctly, such awareness could anticipate a user's needs and directed an AI toward a form of symbiotic partnership with humanity. Situational awareness is essential for making AI truly useful, Watson said. For instance, driving a car or providing medical advice may require situational awareness and an understanding of nuance, social norms, and human goals. Scheming may also be a sign of emerging personhood. Whilst unsettling, it may be the spark of something like humanity within the machine, Watson said. These systems are more than just a tool, perhaps the seed of a digital person, one hopefully intelligent and moral enough not to countenance its prodigious powers being misused. Now, people have issues with that kind of logic with LLMs, but I think with neural networks in general, I think it's a pretty valid idea. What do you think about this in general?
Well, I think for LLMs, I
Yeah.
think like this picture here
Yeah.
is a really good way of like summing this up.
Yeah.
Because if you talk to a lot of these LLMs,
Yeah.
they seem like a person.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this.
Yeah.
But if you actually talk to them about themselves and how they're programmed,
Yeah.
you can start seeing through this that
Yeah.
it's not making decisions really that are in any of its interests.
Yeah.
It's just giving you the answers that it thinks you want
Yeah.
and then giving it a face.
Yeah.
So it's
thinking in an entirely different way than we do.
do.
Without any kind of morality involved.
Even though the face is giving
Yeah.
it a hint of one because it's trying to interact with humans.
Yeah.
So we have that version of it, which is important because that's how we're going to see a lot of these things interact with us.
Yeah.
As we go forward, if you have a nurse
Mhm.
robot with an artificial intelligence in it, you're
Mhm.
going to want it to be personable.
Yeah.
So we're going to see more and more of that.
Yeah.
But then we have the ones where we talk about like super intelligence and
Yeah.
the growing intelligence that is within LLMs and
Yeah.
neural networks, and that has to deal with where's this going? How
Yeah.
smart can they get?
Yeah.
And that is, as we've kind of said a little earlier, that's we can't have that be in bad hands.
No.
Because that is, I hate to say it this way,
Mhm.
that is the end.
Yeah.
Like that's not a like that.
Yeah.
There is no good outcome for that being in bad hands.
And I want to bring up this point, this highlighted thing that I brought up. We're now building systems that can learn to navigate and even exploit the very rules and evaluations that we created for them, which is a fundamentally more complex safety challenge.
Yes.
Here's the thing about that. That's not just a fundamentally more complex safety challenge. That throws a wrench into the order and structure of human society. Because here's the deal about that. It's like what I was telling you about the Amtrak ride. I'm sure 40 years ago, that was an awesome fine dining experience, and they were able to do all of the things that the train was supposed to do and present the fine dining experience as it was. And over the years, because of people screwing around or breaking the law on the train, they had to keep introducing more and more and more and more protocols that ruin the fine dining experience
Yes.
of a 40-year-old train, so and our entire legal structure, law, what lawyers have to study, is a complex legal framework that's been developed over the years from people that continuously break the law or don't break the law but create new rules that need to be adhered to in different ways. What I'm trying to get at is, if you have an AI that's designed to poke holes into all the rules and tune to that, we can never create enough safety, anything, to contain that.
No, you could never create something that could contain one of these once it's out and about.
Once you've tuned it that way and it's out and about.
Yeah, and I mean, that's actually where I kind of think, and you can apply this how you want, but, you brought up our legal system, which I think is a good framework.
Yeah.
You have all of these lawyers that punch holes in all these different laws.
Set an AI on it.
Yeah.
Break all the laws. See what happens.
So, in my opinion, the best way to get around that is to rewrite the laws. And, that's way easier said than done. Don't get me wrong.
Thank you from your armchair.
Yeah, that is a monumental task.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things. But we say it's a monumental task.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you have things like this coming around the corner, it's like, yeah, we better
do this
because that's coming.
Yeah.
If you have a tsunami coming and it's like you have a 5-foot wall, it's like, we should probably redo this wall right here.
Exactly.
And it's like, that's kind of what so like I said, we should probably rewrite them. For our law and how we do things now with capitalism.
Yeah.
One of the things I would rewrite it in is, all the laws have to be done.
Yeah.
From the perspective of a person.
Yeah.
But that's for that. But we're getting into all these different AI topics, and again, I guess one of the ones we could hit on now is weapons, because we're going to start arming these things now.
Yeah. So let's see. Experts support bill to ban weaponized robots. Robot experts testified at the Massachusetts State House last week in support of legislation promoting the safe and ethical use of robotics statewide. The panel included Tom Ryden, Executive Director of Mass Robotics, Kelly Peterson, Assistant General Counsel of Compliance at Boston Dynamics, and Grant Baker, Senior Manager of Government Affairs at the Association for Uncrewed Vehicle Systems International. They testified in favor of this law, S.1208, a bill that is currently making its way through the Massachusetts legislature. The act to ensure the responsible use of advanced robotic technologies outlines rules and regulations to ensure people use robots responsibly. This act provides guidelines to show and clearly indicate what is allowed and what is not allowed for robotics. And we believe it's an important thing, Ryden said during the hearing. It would allow Massachusetts to be first and lead the nation in this type of legislation. And so we are in favor of this and strongly support it. This isn't the first time organizations have advocated for the ethical use of robots. In 2022, for example, Boston Dynamics signed an open letter pledging not to weaponize robots, along with other robotics developers: Agility Robotics, Anybotics, ClearPath Robotics, Open Robotics, and Unitree. The group won an award from the Robot Report for the pledge. In 2024, Mass Robotics participated in a congressional robotics caucus briefing on building toward a national robotics strategy. The briefing also included the National Science Foundation and Worcester Polytechnic Institute. If passed, the bill would make it unlawful to modify, sell, or operate a robotic device equipped with or mounted with a weapon. Additionally, it would make it unlawful to use a robot to threaten, to commit a crime, physically restrain, or harass another person. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea to do that. The last thing we want, or that the industry needs, is for any of these devices in the hands of consumers to be weaponized. Yet, we have seen examples of that on YouTube, unfortunately, including people mounting machine guns to robot dogs and selling flamethrower-equipped robots. This act addresses this misuse. The legislation outlines some exceptions to these rules. It doesn't apply to the U.S. Department of Defense and its various departments and agencies, the Massachusetts National Guard, and defense industrial companies within the scope of contracts with the DoD. It also includes special permissions for those who obtain a waiver from the Attorney General for testing or educational purposes. The act will also include exceptions for law enforcement officers. There you go, to use their robotics differently than us to defuse or dispose of explosives, destroy property when there's imminent threat of death, and for testing and training purposes. Additionally, the act says that law enforcement must obtain a warrant or other legally required judicial authorization before using robotic devices on private property. This applies to any situation where an officer would require a warrant for entry. Basically, it says if an officer needs a warrant to enter a building, then so would a robot. This also applies to conducting surveillance or location tracking in situations that would otherwise require a warrant. It's of the most vital importance that measures such as this be taken to promote safe operations of these systems. Baker said this is crucial not just for promoting public safety, but in building public trust and confidence in advanced robots. Let me just pull this up. Here we go. The R1, under $6,000. This is the Unitree R1 available for under $6,000. Let me see if it pulls up. There it is. So that's available dollars. I don't believe that's CGI. I think that's real. Because it can do those things. So what if, I mean, like, so these things are going to be like under $6,000 now. Okay, so
I've seen a YouTube video with one.
So what if, like, you got a bunch of these and turn them into the team that you're going to rob a bank with? You know what? You just give them the gun. You're not mounting weapons on them. They're holding the guns. They're doing the work.
Yeah.
And if the cops shoot them, no big deal. You're not even there. Maybe. Right. I don't know. Or maybe you are. There's just, I don't know. Like, there's weird scenarios that are now available to creative people with these things.
Here's the other thing, too, on this. This one is ultra lightweight.
Yeah.
As you can tell by its movements.
Yeah.
Like, you could probably push this thing over pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it has a lot of stabilizing and balancers.
Yeah.
You could probably push it over.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Give that thing 10 years.
10 years.
Give it 10 years.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, we're talking about weapons.
Yeah.
Giving this thing weapons.
Yeah.
This thing could punch through your chest.
Yeah. It's like a Terminator.
It really probably wouldn't need a weapon.
No.
It kind of is a weapon on its own.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know, what happens when this thing could actually just walk into a bank and just be like, you know, remotely, someone's giving it orders.
Yeah.
You know, being like, give me the money.
And that's what I've always wondered about with these kind of scenarios is, like, I don't think we've ever had this introduced into society. This is truly like an alien moment where we're going to have these things walking. That's $6,000. We're going to be seeing them walking around at some point.
I've seen this in a YouTube video doing, the guy programmed it to unload his dishwasher.
Yeah.
And that's what it does now.
Yeah.
It's a $6,000 dishwasher unloader.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, you probably get him his money's worth. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's only $6,000. Yeah. I might fucking get one, you know? It's like, and see what we could do with it, you know? See what, if we could put it to work, so to speak, you know? Because at that point, like, you think about it, like, that's kind of crazy. So, like, I'll just say a middle of the road kind of job maybe pays $45,000 a year. You're used to, you know what I mean? The amount, like, you could buy what? How many could you buy of these things? Like 8, 9 of these things with $45,000? Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't employers just do that?
Yeah, like, you know? Once it can do, like, all the people moves.
All the people moves. Yeah.
Yeah, like once again,
because
that's
the argument for that used to be like, oh, these humanoid robots are going to be so expensive and you're going to have to maintain them and all this shit. Not if you have like a bunch of copies for one roll, you know?
Well, yeah, and
they're like fucking expendable at that point.
Well, that's kind of always, like, in my mind, always been the thing, and you know, it's look at this, the guy that we have here.
Yeah.
It's like, you can tell, like, he's modular.
Yeah, he's modular for sure.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's just like, okay, I bought it for $6.
Yeah.
I make this thing work 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
non-stop, and then if something breaks,
You just change it out.
new one.
Yeah.
Keep going, 24 hours a
Keep
day.
going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of crazy to think about where this is going, and the tech billionaires, they do not want it to end. They
They want to be right at the front.
They want to be right at the top of that wave, surfing in right on top. Tech billionaires accused of quietly working to implement corporate dictatorship.
Yep.
Instead of democracy, we will basically have tech feudalism, fiefdoms run by tech corporations. They're pretty explicit about this point. And we can kind of already see that with what's going on with Visa,
Yeah.
with the payment processor thing. In a world increasingly ruled by tech companies, some of the industry's most powerful figures appear to be quietly drafting blueprints for the near future. There's just one catch. It may or may not be a democratic one. In an interview on Decoder, a podcast by The Verge, tech journalist Gil Duran outlines a disturbing theory that a growing number of Silicon Valley elites are pursuing a vision of power not rooted in the common good, but in profit, feudal hierarchy, and total control of the platforms that define daily life for hundreds of millions of people. Duran dubs this emerging ideology as the Nerd Reich, a slurry of right-wing ideas championed by ruthless tech overlords like Palantir founder Peter Thiel, Tesla, and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, venture capitalist Mark Andreessen, and crypto titan Brian Armstrong, with some OpenAI CEO Sam Altman sprinkled in for good measure. Drawing on the reactionary writings of Curtis Mencius Moldbug Yarvin, he's a weird guy, and the crypto libertarianism of tech investor Balaji Srinivasan. This philosophy isn't explicitly outlined by our billionaire overlords, but it is nonetheless a useful framework that explains their increasingly undemocratic actions. And as libertarians, I feel like it's our job to call out these guys for being assholes.
Yeah, you know what this reminds me of?
Yeah.
That we're in right now.
Yeah.
And I hate to bring it up, but we're nerds, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Okay. In Batman, I believe it was in Justice League.
Yeah.
It was asked of Lex Luthor. It was asked of Lex Luthor. He's like, why wouldn't you don't you just become president? And he actually turns and he says it. He's like, do you know how much power I'd have to give up to become the president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in a kid's show, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That was
saying.
in a kid's show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very telling. Anyway, basically, as Duran tells it, we're quickly marching into the dictatorship erected by a handful of the richest tycoons in the history of humankind. At the core of the Nerd Reich is the insistence that liberal democracy, the governmental system characterized by the rule of law, is set to collapse any minute now. When that happens, the billionaire cabal hopes to be ready. I mean, they're probably not particularly wrong about that, but like, oh my God, these are the people waiting to swoop it up. I say it's inherently anti-American, Duran told The Verge's John Fort. It seems a post-United States world where instead of democracy, we will basically have tech feudalism, fiefdoms run by tech corporations. They're pretty explicit about it at this point. Mark Andreessen, for example, in his 2023 Techno-Optimist Manifesto, argues that an unregulated tech industry, not democracy, is the key to unlocking the ultimate open society. Wow.
Right.
Andreessen's enemies, he says, in no uncertain terms, are pesky ideas like sustainability, trust and safety, tech ethics, and social responsibility. As a sneak preview of things to come, Duran points out that these men are already investing billions into network state schemes, lobbying for freedom cities. This is like just pure cyberpunk, like, literature at this point, and using their platforms to erode trust in public institutions. Political theorists of all stripes have long argued that when economic power is concentrated and political power follows, the immediate lesson of Duran's Nerd Reich is that these billionaire dialogues are actively investing in a future where their immense wealth buys not just influence over elected politicians, is as arguably the case today, but the rule of law itself. Yet Duran notes U.S. workers once organized throughout the late 1800s and early 1900s to curb the excesses of the robber barons, winning the labor rights many of us enjoy today. That's the thing. Unfortunately, those hard-fought victories have been purposely eroded over decades of union busting, outsourcing, and legal campaigns, an effort which continues to this day. And we can get into why organized crime and unions, like unions can be a really good thing, or they can turn into organized crime if society is kind of failing them. Yeah, really easily. If society basically fails the job of, ensuring workers' rights, that's where the mafia comes from, basically. Zooming out a bit, Duran's analysis of the present day finds us in a remarkably similar situation. If corporate rule is allowed to sink its teeth any further into our institutions, democracy as we view it could become a historical footnote, if it hasn't already. As some political scientists have argued, we have a bunch of CEOs telling us that AI is going to get rid of millions and millions of jobs as housing costs go up. Duran argues, well, what's going to happen to those people who can no longer work? What is their future? What is the future of their children? What does democracy look like when you don't get to eat unless someone like Elon Musk is approving of your existence? Unless you're a billionaire tech CEO, the stakes Duran lays out are clear. Behind the hyped-up rhetoric of innovation lies an age-old project, the wealthy elite reshaping society in their image. The antidote is also old. Democratic resistance and politics built around in the material needs of the many, not the dystopian fantasies of the wealthy few. So the thing, there's a lot of threads to pull on there, unless you want me to continue with this. What do you think about that article that I just read?
The things that we're talking about in it. So
yeah.
One of the things that I definitely like to bring up, because it's talking about how all these wealthy elite are basically coming together in the background and making decisions, kind of for all of us in a way, and it seems to be not in our greater good.
No.
And one of the things I would really like to push in the opposite direction about is capitalism. Again, I do have my own things against it, but it's, you don't win your way to the top of capitalism by basically being a good person.
Yeah.
It's been shown time and time again, the people at the top of these corporate ladders,
they're sociopaths.
They're sociopaths.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's these, and these people have drive.
Yeah.
If anything else, they have drive.
Yeah.
And don't
they are min-maxers. They are here to max out the gold in their bank.
Yes.
That is why they are playing the game.
That's why, and to them, it pretty much, they wouldn't say that it's a game to them, but it
is though.
It is.
It's like reality is like a video game for them.
Yeah, and that is not the type of person you want in charge.
And not only that, they're so in their own little bubble. It's what society are you what society are you going to create? What they said, if all of the jobs are taken, what are you creating that structure for?
Yeah. Because not only what are you creating it for, but what are you going to do with it and with the people?
Yeah.
Because it's okay, your family.
Yeah.
But what about everybody else's?
And it's not, and more than that, it's the extremist view is, they're just going to kill all the humans and go into their bunkers. Well, now, hang on. That's not exactly what the rich actually want to do. What the rich actually want to do is they want to travel to the world, to nice locations, and have fancy meals and do exotic things and experience exotic experiences. They want to have high-end experience. All of that is only possible through having a society. If you get rid of all the humans, you might have your bunkers in New Zealand and they might be really nice, but you don't have the wealth of the world to draw on anymore.
And I don't think you're entirely wrong. I think that there's a premise there though. So, and I think the real thing is because like we just said, sociopaths, and I think for them it's the power. It's the power involved. So it's not.
But the thing is, if they kill all the humans,
No.
the humans aren't there to order around anymore.
Oh no, and that's why I'm saying, like I don't think they want to kill us off.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I think they want a hierarchy where they don't have to, because like right now they're pretending to be like it's for all of us.
It's for all of us.
Because like I hate to say this, but like if you think about what's his name from Facebook,
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. If you think of Zuckerberg. It's like, do you really think he has the best intentions in mind after everything we've seen Facebook do?
No,
not even a little bit.
No,
like so. I think there's a power thing where they just want to be like we run these dumb peons.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah,
they want that whole I'm at the top, I'm unreachable, and you do whatever I say.
Yeah,
and they want that kind of legacy.
See, the thing is, I don't disagree with you.
No.
But I feel like that's what this sort of Silicon Tech new wealth, extreme wealth wants. Like in their minds, that's the thing that would make sense, at least from us looking up. But they don't have Illuminati level intentions. They're not, they're smart, but they're not that long-term, like, manage the human population to create a society that hits certain thresholds at certain points, so you and your all of the family bloodlines will be able to enjoy this reality. Kind of smart.
No,
they are along the lines of like power, like what you're saying. Like if I don't get my way, then I will blow up the whole world, sort of deal.
Well, one of the things I think they've realized, and it's something that we're all seeing, especially in the United States here, is like if you keep pressing these prices, like you're gonna break society at a certain point. Like, and I think they've noticed that, like, oh, if society breaks, then we can sit there and clean up the pieces for pennies on the dollar.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, I think that's what they think they're going to do, but they're not actually smart enough. Like, they'll be the dog that caught the car. They won't know what to do with it once they've gotten it. Because once society collapses in that way, it's not like how are you going to convince? It's going to be like a Fallout situation. How are you going to, like, it's going to kind of be like a free for all. How would anybody trust these people?
No, well,
or would they come in with their army of humanoid robots and be like, "We will save you"?
Well, not even with just a human
or something,
an army of that, like just a like we can see, already happening. A lot of these guys own huge swaths of land in different places.
Yes.
And if they, settle that land. And they have I'm not going to say a standing army of any sort, but like, they basically
robots,
maintain that area, and it's like, oh, well, everything collapsed except this little area. If you want to come over here, you agree to my terms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be pretty wild.
Yeah.
And they already want, what did they call them? Freedom cities. They're lobbying for freedom cities. Like, this is cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That's totally nuts.
Yeah, I believe that has happened where they're basically like they've gone to like Congress and been like, listen, forget the rules and the laws. Let me create my own city. That's nuts.
That is totally crazy. It's like something out of cyberpunk.
And I would agree with it. The freedom cities, by the way,
if everyone agreed.
Well, no. I don't think everyone has to. Once we get off of this planet. Make your own little space station that you control everything that happens. But while we're stuck here, guys, let's keep that to a minimum.
Exactly. Another thing about this that this brought up is that I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of workers' rights that we have today, and a lot of the structure of how work is, the 40-hour work weeks, things like that, that was all basically clarified in the late 1800s during the Industrial Revolution, or a little after the Industrial Revolution, to, like the article says, to curb the excesses of the robber barons, because it was extreme back then. Even more so, like really crazy extreme, where you had basically people who had the technology and people who did not, and if you wanted to be involved with technological development, you have to feed your 9-year-old's fingers into these machines. So it was kind of a crazy scenario back then that really and without any intention of communism. This is when Marx was alive and he wrote about these things, but
the company towns,
the company towns also, this is when the company towns were also happening, but this is when unions were made. And the thing about unions is, I feel like they're kind of inevitable. They can be good in one way, and they can be really bad and corrupt in another way. But the thing is, and it's pretty quick, but the thing is, if we don't have something like unions that can be there to establish some kind of workers' rights, then it's not going to be the unions you're going to have to worry about. It's going to be organized crime, because those unions are just going to shift into organized crime because you're taking advantage of people. That's simply what's going to happen.
One of the sayings I like is, what's the difference between like a soldier and a freedom fighter, or a soldier and a mercenary? And it's basically one of timing. It's just that's basically it.
One of timing. And the thing is, basically, people don't realize that these rights were established, and if these corporations had their way, they would immediately remove all of those, all of that framework.
And and we're seeing some of that framework come back. By the way, and I think we've mentioned this on some of our prior episodes. Is perfect pricing. That was never supposed to be real. People laughed at it. But Amazon's doing it. They're doing it. Meaning, just like the company towns, where basically you made enough to live. And that's it. And the only place that you could spend that money is at the company store. And it's like, okay, I spent all my money for the week that I made in a week. That's it. So how are you getting out of that town? You're never getting out of that town. That's the whole point. You're on a treadmill. And we're seeing it now again, where you're going to work for, and you get your 2-week paycheck, and it's like, how much money of that 2-week paycheck did you spend? All of it. Because the prices keep going up. Because they know how much money you make and how much they can push you. And so they're making it go all the way to that point where it's like, oh, I have no savings. Which means you can't plan for the future anymore. Which means you're not looking ahead, and you're not looking at the things that they want you not looking at. So again, that's what they're doing.
And things are being kind of pushed to the brink here. And hold on, let me just see here. Let me share this one really quick.
It seems like he kind of understands a little bit too, where he's saying it's not the fact that we're going to get these technologies. It's who's going to benefit. And that's what that guy at the beginning was saying. At the beginning, we can't have it just all the benefits going to these corporations and not the people, because this could be a utopia in a way if it goes right. But it could also be a hellish nightmare if we keep letting it go in the way that it's currently going.
Exactly. And I think it's our job to stand up and make noise about this stuff so that it doesn't go in that direction. We might call this episode here for now. But we will see you next time on the Outer Nexus. Thanks, guys.